Welcome back to this pick.
Welcome back to the show, you guys.
This is going to be our NFL recaps, and the Saints and the Bengals will be the first thing we'll talk about. 51-14, Saints win this one. Oh man, let's get some stats knocked out, and we go into the analysis. Breeze had a really good game. They didn't have a ton of yards, but didn't really need to. 265 yards, 3 tubs. Ingram had a pretty good game, 104 yards. Michael Thomas didn't have a whole bunch of yards, but he had 2 tubs. Dalton didn't play well, 2 picks, 200 yards. Mixon didn't get that many carries. That's why he didn't have that many yards. 61 yards on 11 carries. Boyd was their leading receiver with 65 yards. So this was just a butt whooping. The Bengals defense could not stop the Saints at all, and Dalton didn't play well. And when you get blown out in the first half, you can't do anything on offense. You can't do what this team's good at, which is running the ball and doing play action. Because if you're down by 20, 30 points, you can't be running the ball constantly.
Well, it was 35-7 by half. So
yeah, so you can't. You have to get away with your game plan and just keep on chucking the ball. And yeah, this was just a butt whooping. Pretty much over in the second half. Driscoll came in and didn't really do much either. Yeah, dominating win by Saints. This Bengals team was kind of not really as good as their record really showed. At the beginning of the season, I really love Bill Parcells, and I agree with him for the most part, but sometimes I disagree with him. He says that you are what your record is. I kind of think that's kind of silly at times. If you will go by that, Bengals were a good team 2-3 weeks ago, but they're not a good team.
It's more like you are what your schedule is.
Yeah. Anyway, great win by the Saints. I don't really got much to say about this game. Really not much analysis. They couldn't tackle the Saints at all. They couldn't defend the Saints at all. They barely got any pressure. And they couldn't do anything on offense, really.
Yeah, it was it was a massacre. It was, like I said, it was really actually over by mid second quarter.
Yeah.
They just kept scoring on them. They did have a tie game at 7-7. It looked like it was going to be a good game. Joe Mixon was beginning of the game, first quarter, was playing really well, running the ball really well, catching the ball out of the backfield, looking really well. But like I said, they were down so much by the time they got second half that they didn't even use them because they had to pass pretty much because they were already down 35-7. So it sucks for Joe because I think if they would have kept this game close, he would have had a monster of a game.
Yeah.
So that kind of makes me upset because I actually had him the player of the game, and which is ridiculous. Yeah, he had 61 yards. Honestly, I think he could have had close to 200 if he kept going. But yeah, man, they couldn't. That defense for Cincinnati couldn't figure anything out. Drew Brees is the man. Like, this is the thing about Drew Brees is, if you're covering his man's downfield, he'll find something short. If you're covering his man, if you're Alvin Kamara's coming out for a short pass, and a lot of these teams respect it, which makes sense. He's a monster, and he'll just go get it downfield. Like, he knows how and when to cut you up, and he was literally just cutting them up like bread and butter. And yeah, man, like I said, that's what really made it such a blowout so fast is that defense is not up to par, and when he's on Drew is on point and got a clean pocket, he'll eat you alive and just shred you apart if you allow him, and that's what happened really. Good comeback game for Ingram. He's been injured. This is his first game back since his injury, and he balled out in this game. Alvin Kamara, of course, balled out. Had a couple rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown. And there really ain't much else to say. Otherwise, that the Saints are still the scariest team in the NFL right now in my eyes. And Cincinnati got some work to do. They got to go back on the drawing board and figure out where this team is. I know it's difficult to score points and be efficient offense when your best player is on the sidelines. AJ Green But yeah, you guys got to figure something out. Either run the ball more, or run the ball, work off of play action. Got to figure something out because if y'all don't, then your season's gonna go down the tank, and probably Marvin Lewis is gonna lose his job. Because if he don't, this is ridiculous. But
who knows? He should lose his job like 5 years ago. But.
Yeah, years ago. But yeah, man, they got to go back to the drawing board, and the Saints just keep rolling.
Yeah. I think they're gonna go in the tank, but who knows? It's the thing though. When your defense is absolutely terrible, you can't really. You gotta completely change your game plan, and you can't do exactly what you want to do. I've never thought Andy Dalton was really the answer for them. He's been a decent quarterback, but he's not a franchise quarterback in my eyes. And this is not a great quarterback draft, and they're not going to be at high enough to really get the good one. So, yeah, they're kind
of stuck in there.
They're kind of in football limbo, honestly.
Yeah.
They're kind of stuck with the quarterback, and they're probably not going to be able to get a better one. And I don't know if they're going to be able to get a better coach as well. So who knows? They got a lot of talent though, especially on offense and parts of their defense. So it's not a dumpster fire of a roster. So this need a couple changes, and I think a new coaching staff would definitely help a lot. But
not only that, like it's just. You got that they needed culture change. Like Marvin Lewis has been there so long. It's just, it's like a pool with stagnant water just sitting there for years. After water, it gets a little funky
and stale.
And that's what they've been for years since he's been there. So it is, and that does help. I don't care what nobody says. It does help when you start fresh. You get a new coach, and it does. It helps.
Try to get a new quarterback
it helps. So. They do. They really do need to consider that, and it makes no sense to me because Marvin Lewis, in my eyes, has never been a really super great coach in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, but
I mean, he's been solid.
He's been solid, and the Bengals were such a dumpster fire before he got there. So.
Oh yeah, I get that.
He was a ease in place for a team that was kind of like the Browns before he got there. So I understand that, but it's time, people like.
It's like Oklahoma and this decision we had to make. It was like ripping off a Band-Aid. Yeah, we really didn't want to get rid of Bob Stoops because I love Bob Stoops, but it wasn't working. After all these years, it was stagnant, and finally OU was like, okay, we got to do something about it. Really, that's what Cincinnati needs to consider is, okay, you've easily been given the opportunity to do something in all these years, and you really haven't done anything. So it's time to move on. It really is.
Alright, well, that's all I got to say about the game.
Do it for me. Please comment, like, subscribe. Of course, we love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. And we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching.